What's going on, Jerome's? Grip It and Rip It Tuesday. Birds are chirping and stuff. Beautiful day, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. G'day. Stephon Gilmore in the building, signing his contract. Everyone is good to go. Everyone is happy, and let's go, babe. So, Griffin on the outside, Gilmore on the outside, Murph in the slot. I think the secondary ain't going to be bad, man. Really fired up to see what it's going to be this season, especially since Flores is going to be extra pissed off now. Of course, we'll get into that. Also, what we're going to get into is the live stream on Saturday, a noon game against the stupid Eagles. We're going to live stream and do some Q&A. Chop things up. It's going to be fun. And during the month of August, all Venmos, Cash Apps, Super Chats donated to Every Meal Twin Cities. Worked with them during the draft. You guys crushed our goals then. A goal right now is 1509. Currently at about 1100. So should be able to get over the hump there for the last game as well as the rest of the month. You can donate directly to Every Meal. A link is in the description. Shoot us an email if you do that to include you in the count. You guys are the best. So, yes, Gilmore is in the building. I believe that belongs to Mr. Gilmore. We're number 23. So, Nashawn Wright came over from the Cowboys, initially wore 23, which was formerly worn by Andrew Booth Jr., but Jumpman. The best 23 to ever do it, baby. That's right. Also, speaking of Shaq, so Shaq is back. Like it. Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gershman. Vikings cornerback Shaq Griffin, hamstring, was back at practice today. He said he's easing back and should be a full go next week. I remember the Vikings have just shy of 3 weeks ahead of the September 8th game against the Giants. Also, Stephon Gilmore participated today as well and got some work with the first team. Now, all right, so Flores. Again, this is the best thing ever because it completely came out of nowhere and it was just like a tomahawk missile. Just two. All right, so background, of course, Flores and Tua back in the day had 2 years of crossover. And in Flores' second season as the Dolphins head coach, 2020, the Dolphins, the number 5 overall, drafted Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama. Now, there's all these rumors and conjecture. Did Flores want Justin Herbert, who went 6, Jordan Love, who went later in the first round to the Packers? Did he want a defensive player since he's a defensive guy? Who knows? Either way, like the tension between him and Tua, it was always sort of whatever. And of course, Mike McDaniel took over, offensive-minded guy. Plus, they traded for Tyreek Hill, and Tua's blown up, and he got paid, put up stats and stuff. But Tua's on Le Batard, and again, we've been over this yesterday, but for you guys who didn't see it, basically he talked about how it was a rough relationship with Flores, and also he just threw in, quote, "You have a terrible person," referring to Flores, "that's telling you things that you don't want to hear or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself." So Flores is a no-nonsense coach, and some may say that he's a bully, sure, but he has a high standard, and when you're not living up to the standard, you're going to hear about it. And frankly, I respect that. And Tua, the whole words here, like, we called Tua soft yesterday. I feel like that's fair, but also it's not like this. It's not like old school anymore. Like this isn't back in the day, like Bear Bryant Junction boys situation, but telling you things you don't want to hear. Okay, isn't that the whole point of coaching? Sometimes the truth is what you don't want to hear. Do you not want to hear the truth? Or do you want to say, hey, buddy, you're doing great. We didn't need to bench you for Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're just giving him some run. I don't know, man. But here's the thing, though. Like, some Flores defensive players, like, they love him. They respect him. Some have some words with him, but that's with anyone in life. But Gilmore feels perfectly fine. Notable cornerback Stephon Gilmore, 2 years of crossover of Flores in New England, also won a Super Bowl. This is what he said in his VEN introductory video signing his contract. Quote, "Being familiar with Flo, also playing with him in New England and how his defense usually plays, and just wanted to be part of that whole opportunity." But doesn't Gilmore know that Flores is mean to Tua? I don't know, man. I don't know. Also, speaking of a guy who played with Flores, obviously opposite side of the ball, but freaking Tom Brady, who won 6 Super Bowls with Bill Belichick, who was the mentor to Brian Flores, and of course, probably someone that Flores modeled his coaching style after. But I mean, Belichick and Brady famously had a very frosty relationship, right? Very professional. And Belichick was not above chewing out Tom Brady in front of the rest of the team because guess what? That sends a message that, hey, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback and football player of all time. If coach can get on his ass for not living up to expectations and not doing his job, I mean, what am I going to do? All right, so that's the psychology there. But talking about getting tough coaching, this is what Brady said back on the McAfee show back in January. Quote, if a coach was going to be hard on me, I was going to accept the difficult coaching because I needed to hear it. That's the thing. So one is the greatest quarterback of all time, difficult coaching because I needed to hear it. And then Tua saying, telling you, you have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear. I feel like there's a slight difference there. Tua, things you don't want to hear. Brady, greatest of all time, accept the difficult coaching because I need to hear it. All right, so I think that there is levels there. So obviously, we stand with FLO. Now, a lot of people brought up, well, isn't this the same as like Eric Kendrick's fear-driven organization, Brian O'Neill, not saying hello in the highway? All right, so after they made the change from Zimmer, Spielman to Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, of course, it is a change. Like Spielman, old school, maybe not like a hard ass, but Zimmer, definitely hard ass, right? And Kwesi, Kevin O'Connell, yeah, this might be all that you get. Ted Lasso, positive pie in the sky stuff. Well, maybe not Flores, you know what I mean? But guessing strip back from January 2022. The big buzzword from the Vikings has been collaboration. Ask Brian O'Neill what he means by that. Quote, it can be as little as, hey, how are you doing in the hallway? We spend so much time together and the season's so long that little personal things can make a huge difference. Now, if you can't see the difference between, hey, maybe it's just a cold professional relationship, but we can still work towards our goals, versus Tua saying that Flores is a terrible person, telling you things that you don't want to hear and telling you that you suck. I can't help you. Okay, I can't help you, man. Or Kendrick saying that, the Vikings said if you're a driven organization, and then he goes and signs with Zimmer in Dallas. Okay, that guy. But I don't know, man. Obviously, I'm sure that Tua had some points, and maybe Flores was a little gruff on him, but also, I mean, there's tons of other players that Flores was equally tough on, and they seem to thrive, and they seem to be okay with Flores because they understand that it's business, it's not personal, and everything that Flores was saying, I mean, it's true. Even though you could chalk it up to the divide of a defensive head coach and a quarterback, which is always a tough one to bridge. So who knows, man. Anyways, I stand with FLO. All right, and Flores is scheduled to talk to the media jackals today. Now, Flores also chimed in on the Chris Long podcast. I'm just like, I thought that Flores was just going to drop a bomb, but you know what Flores is going to do? Like, Flores is going to take the high road. Of course, he's going to get pelted with questions about it, probably from Judd. But Flores all right, so here's exactly what Flores is going to say. Tua, man, we drafted him when I was a coach of the Dolphins, and he's shown a lot of promise. Obviously, he got himself a big contract, put up some big numbers. So I'm happy to see him thriving down there with the Dolphins. He's a good kid. He's got a great family. And, sometimes we didn't always see eye to eye. And, my style is not for everyone, but I do hold players accountable. And at the end of the day, there was some things that he took the wrong way, didn't want to hear, but it was never personal. It was all professional and trying to make him better every single day. And, I hold no animosity towards Tua or any player that I've ever coached. And I wish him the best, just like everyone else. But we're focused on getting ready for the Eagles. That's exactly what Flores is going to say. Man, I think a couple years ago we did a fake press conference segment. We should bring that back. I'm pretty good at coach speak. Anyways, speaking of a player that plays for Flores right now, Dwight Nudie McGlothern, the pride of Arkansas/LSU. So PFF College put this out. Vikings rookie quarterback Dwight McGlothern in preseason week 2. 0 goose egg, D'Angelo Russell yards allowed, 2 targets, 1 pick, 0.0 passer rating when thrown at, which is good. It's pretty good, man. Also, 88.7 coverage grade. And Dwight McGlothern's a dog, man. Like, I love seeing him practice. Love seeing him at joint practice. he's very efficient in his movements, right? And one of the reasons why he fell out of the draft is because he didn't check all the boxes physically in terms of testing numbers. But you just see him, like, he knows where he's going. He runs the receiver's route for them a lot of the time. Like, he knows what's coming. He is so polished in the technical aspects, and he wants to get better. Like, you see him hanging out after practice working with Murph, and now probably going to be working with Griff and Gilly and stuff. And I think the Vikings found another one. I really do. And yeah, Richter, Murphy, and whatnot. But I think that McGlothern could be this year's Ivan Pace. I think that McGlothern could get on the field earlier than you think. And frankly, I think that he might not come off it. I think he's going to be that good. He truly is a technician of the position, man. So that's fantastic. Also, the reverse. So the national media just letting all of themselves, just slobbering over Bo Nix. Now, I have my reservations about Bo Nix in the draft process. Was he a product of a very simple Oregon system? He's 97,000 years old, etc., right? I prefer McCarthy, but then McCarthy's knee died. It is what it is, right? But the media can't help themselves, because I feel like the media just has a complete hard-on for stupid-ass Sean Payton, who, did you know that he was suspended for a full year because of Bountygate? Did you know that? Oh, could never pass up an opportunity. Douche. 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 So the media's in Sean Payton's pocket. Stupid-ass Sean Payton's pocket. And also with the whole Bo Nix thing, people are fawning all over him during the draft process. And sure, maybe he'll pan out, but I mean, there's a lot of reservations. And this doesn't help things. So he lit up the Packers' second and third team defense, but you forget the Broncos played the first team offense. Like, he had Cortland Sutton out there mossing dudes who are going to be working at Foot Locker in a week. So I'm so sorry if I don't think that proves that Bo Nix is going to be the truth. Just wait till he's up against first team defenses. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. But I guess we'll see. But, of course, the double standard is real because McCarthy now plays for the Vikings. But Bo Nix lights up the 2s and the 3s with the 1s, strong and independent. And then McCarthy lights up the 2s and 3s with 2s and 3s, broke ass. Come on, man. Come on. But it's okay. Hey, just taking notes. Getting ready for next year comeback season. Speaking of the 2024 draft, so in an interesting move, Raheem Morris, head coach of the Falcons, shut down quarterback Michael Penix Jr., the number 8 overall pick. Now, I think part of it is, I mean, Penix has shown enough, which was the line that Raheem Morris put out there. Now, some truth in that. 2, I don't think that they want to play him with a second and third team offensive line, because I think that's just a bad idea. Like, honestly, if you're playing your starting quarterback or your future starting quarterback with anything other than the first team offensive line in preseason, that's malpractice. You should be fired for that. It's just very stupid. It's like Shanahan tossing Purdy out there without the Avengers, and then he looked like Brock Purdy. It's so stupid, man. But also, conspiracy theory wise, is Kirk Cousins going to be ready for week 1? Because, yeah, they show clips of him out there doing all this stuff, but is he going to be ready for game action? I don't know, man. So it seems like they're hedging their bets. And lastly, speaking of Kirk Cousins, now, I know that people will piss him off. It's like, well, you keep talking about a guy who's on the team. I do what I want. Start your own channel. But, so this stands out to me. So Kirk Cousins, it was his birthday yesterday. Oh, did you know he's like 37,000 years old? But Falcons, on Kurt's birthday, he gets the aux, which we need to change that up because there's not really physical hardware anymore. Everything's Bluetooth, but yeah. Also, wasn't the Bluetooth guy a Viking? You're welcome. So Kirk Cousins' birthday playlist. Now, initially when I read this playlist, I was just like, oh, Kurt, excited. This is a white, but also I was just like, I like all these songs. And then I realized, like, hey, I'm basically like Kirk Cousins, like a late 30s white dude. That's basically it. So Jimmy Eat World the middle, which is fitting since that's where all of his teams end up. All American Rejects Move Along. Oh, man. Green Day Holiday. Stacy's Mom is gonna go unknown. Blink-182. Blink-182 Enema of the State is an absolute banger. 0 skips on that album. Plus, again, this is like an like a boomer complaint. Like, kids don't appreciate albums anymore. Everything is just singular tracks and shuffle and Spotify and all that stuff. It's just like back in the day, like, hey, you bought an album for $14 and you had to hope that all the tracks were good. Or is it just that one song from the radio? Or you buy that's what I call music. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm old. Anyways, the anthem from Good Charlotte, Mr. Brightside, The Killers, Somebody Told Me, different song, but When We Were Young. The Killers are good, man. I love the Killers. Gym Class Heroes, Foo Fighters, Best of You. I love the Foo Fighters. Also, I love when Dave Grohl found out that Prince was sampling Best of You during the greatest Super Bowl halftime performance of all time, and then Dave Grohl just like had tears of joy. He made it, man. Prince is covering my song. More Good Charlotte. Ironically, Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous. Kurt, you have to have more awareness than that, man, or at least in the pocket. Sugar, We're Going Down. Fall Out Boy, the All-American Rejects, Maroon 5, of course. More of the Killers. Somebody Told Me. All Time Low. I never really got into them. Three Doors Down. They're from Missouri, aren't they? But yeah, Kryptonite's really good. If I Could Be Like That. And also, of course, Yellow Card. So Yellow Card hits me right in the junk because I love Yellow Card, man. I love that they have a plus size fiddler in that band. And so the girl I was dating in high school, she was like a wannabe surfer chick, just always wearing like Hurley stuff. And then hey, I'm going to start wearing Hurley stuff. And then I looked in the mirror one day. I was like, you stupid a-hole. You're from Southeast Minnesota and you think that you're a surfer dude. Whoa. So dumb. Didn't work out. Anyways, but this playlist hits a little close to home because I'm pretty sure every single one of these are on my shuffle playlist. So Kurt, whatever. And whatever. Anyways, I stand with FLO. That's right. Your thoughts are thoughts. Beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.